So now that I have them all in their individual species, I'm going to go through and count them and just double check with this that we did get everything that I bought. So I went ahead and I went through everybody, and unfortunately we did have a culture that is dead. The Panda Kings are the ones that died, unfortunately, so I'm gonna go ahead and message the seller and see if we can have a resolution there. And then I am missing a culture too, so that's why I always go through when I purchase something and I buy it in bulk like this. I always go through and I make sure that we have everything. So I think there may have just been a little bit of a mix-up. There was an extra culture of something else in here rather than the other one. So I think there was just a little bit of a mix-up. So I'm not really too worried about that, but I always like to let sellers know. And then, like I said, the Panda Kings were dead. I am a little disappointed in the packaging. I love the stickers, like absolutely love those. They're super cute, but the packaging in itself, they were just kind of thrown in there. And I doubt that they did that like on purpose. It was probably more of a shipping thing, that it happened during shipping, but it wouldn't have happened if there was enough stuffing. And you guys can kind of tell when I go through and I pull stuff out, you can definitely see that there's not enough like paper material to keep things from moving around. So I am a little disappointed in that. And like the heat pack and everything, just kind of how they were put together and placed in there. It's nothing too crazy, but you know, maybe that could have been avoided with the Panda Kings dying if it was done a little bit differently. But moving on from that, I do want to show you guys some of the isopods that I got and kind of explain to you why I bought so many isopods and why I bought so many cultures of isopods. So Brandon and I, if you guys don't know already, we actually sell isopods ourselves. We culture them, and I've been meaning to do a video on like our setup and just all the species that we have and things like that. At shows is when we are typically selling all of our isopods, and we sell quite a few of them. So Brandon and I have been looking at purchasing a home, and once we do, we will be expanding our isopod collection. And so this is kind of that. We haven't obviously moved yet, but these will, as you know, isopods take a little while to get established. And a lot of these are actually just species that we already have, and I purchased just to add new blood to our colonies, to start a whole new culture, whole new bin, but we may already have the species. So I think there's only 7 species in here that we've never had before, and they're brand new to us. Apologies if you can hear our washer and dryer, but I believe it's like 7 species in here that are brand new to us, and the rest of them are like all duplicates, and we already have these. So I will be setting those guys up just in separate cultures. Typically when I buy new cultures of isopods, they will be put into like their own bin. They'll start their own culture, and kind of quarantine them in a way, just to make sure that there's not any issues. I've never had any issues, but I always like to make sure, because you don't want to lose all of your isopods, because it takes them quite a while sometimes to get established. So these guys here, I will get them set up into their own bins probably in the next day or two, and After that, they'll just be, you know, set off on their own, taken care of just like our others. And eventually I will kind of mix some of their blood into our bins that we have already. I did end up purchasing 20 individual isopod species. I'm not gonna go over them all with you guys today. And a lot of them are just like very common, like powder orange, powder blues. I actually ended up picking up these powder mix. So these actually have Oreo crumbles, powder orange, powder blues. I'm sure maybe something else in there. They're just a powder mix of isopods. So these were actually the ones that I got an extra culture of when I wanted powder blues. So it's not super crazy on that, not super worried about that in general. And then I got just a culture of powder blues. These ones I'm really excited for, and they are a species that we've not had before. But if you guys are familiar with dairy cows or Porcellio laevis, these are the orange version of dairy cows. They have an orange color just like powder orange isopods, but they are very protein heavy and fast producing and that sort of thing, like dairy cows. So I picked up some of these guys. I will try and get some photos and whatnot of them so you guys can actually see them a bit better. They don't look super orange. It looks like they may have ate something in here that was a little bit dark, because if you guys know, sometimes isopods will get a bit of a colored abdomen or just body based on what they're eating. So these guys aren't super orange right now, but I will see if I can get one of them to come out. So like there's that guy right there. But yeah, I will try and get some photos of these guys, photos or video, and plug them into the video so you guys can check them out. But I was so excited about these guys that I bought all of them. So the reason that I went ahead and decided to purchase all of these like I did was because Smug Bug, she was having a sale, an after expo sale, so she didn't have to like go through and put all these, you know, containers back. She decided just to go ahead and sell the cultures that she already had pre-made, and she put them on like a very discounted list on her website. And so I was like, you know what, perfect timing. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick some up. These guys here are actually a new culture, and I originally bought my first culture of these from a show from Smug Bug, and these ones are actually the Cubaris marina papayas. So instead of the little C isopods, these guys are papaya, so they're nice and kind of like a orange color, and they're really small. These guys are definitely a smaller species. I went ahead and I did a little bit of a preliminary check on them and kind of like dug through, and so far I only saw like one dead one other than the Panda Kings. So really excited about that I haven't found any other dead ones, because you never know kind of what's gonna happen with these guys. These ones here are, we also have these ones already. I believe we do. These ones are called the hissing isopod, and I guess these guys will actually hiss at you. And I've not heard ours do it, so maybe we don't actually own these ones, but these guys are actually a bit of a more robust and bigger isopod. But yeah, so I went ahead and picked up some of these guys to add to our culture. I'll have to double check that these are actually what we have already. These very well could be a new species for us. Sometimes I forget. We have so many that it's hard for me to remember them all. These are a new species. I'm not gonna attempt to say that it's a Porcellio ichinatus. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but these guys are just a dark isopod. A lot of these species that we got are just plain kind of wild type, not really any crazy morphs or like colors to them. I really just wanted to get the basics, and that's what we sell a lot of, are the basics for people, because a lot of people like them for bioactives and things, so it makes sense. These ones are definitely a new species for us. I think these ones are probably my favorite that we picked up, purely because of their color. They're like a light gray, and I think they're super pretty based on that. And I think the second ones that I'm like the most excited for, these are the Armadillidium klugi, and these are very similar to clown isopods. They're actually the same species, or very, very similar. And these, I actually was trying to get clowns from her and she had them, but she sold out of them before I could check out with them in my cart. So I wasn't able to snag any of those guys. But these guys here, they're kind of hard to see in the moss on video. But these guys are actually really cool. I was trying to snag more clowns because our clown culture that we have, it's producing, but I feel like it really needs some new blood, but I wasn't able to get any, so I'll have to find some of those at like a local show or something. That's one of our cultures that we've struggled with to continuously produce with. I feel like they don't produce super crazy, at least for us, they haven't. But yeah, guys, we have a ton of isopod cultures here. Like I said, there's 20 species and there's multiple containers of each that I bought. So yeah, really excited to add these. I'll definitely have to go ahead and get a hold of her. These are the Panda Kings that unfortunately did not make it, and I've had them in this bowl and there's not been any sort of movement. And I've kind of been picking through and I've not seen any live ones. So I don't know if maybe these ones had the heat pack on them, because the heat pack it looked like it was supposed to be taped to the top of this, but it must have gotten knocked off because it was definitely just hanging there and kind of on top of everything. So I don't know if maybe they, like I said, were on the heat pack, or just for whatever reason they didn't, make it through the trip. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's a very real unboxing. Sometimes things don't always go the way you want them to. I will leave down in the description kind of the end result to if we get these kind of like figured out and that kind of thing. I don't think we'll have any issues. I've never heard of any problems with Smug Bug. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye.